A 24% tax on cannabis in the new state budget is facing a big legal challenge. CBS News Detroit's Elaine Rojas Castillo breaks down the lawsuit filed by one of the leading groups supporting marijuana in our state and what this could mean going forward.
Less than 24 hours after Governor Gretchen Whitmer signed an $81 billion state spending plan into law, one of the largest industry groups representing cannabis businesses in Michigan filed a lawsuit, hoping to stop one of its new taxes in its tracks. Set to take effect on New Year's Day, the budget added a 24% wholesale tax on marijuana, which lawmakers say will increase funding for roads.
We in the cannabis industry view it as kind of a Trojan horse that was put forth, I think, just days before the budget was to be passed.
On Tuesday, the Michigan Cannabis Industry Association filed the lawsuit.
That's a common thing with these liberal states now. They hide things into a bill that has to do with budgeting, and they immediately hide some extra shit in there that affects the consumers of said certain items, because you are already either addicted to such thing and or you need it for recreational use. So they hide stuff in budgets. Illinois is they're infamous for this type of stuff. They do it a lot.
Arguing that the move was unconstitutional. Because the law came from a ballot proposal that voters approved back in 2018, the change requires a supermajority vote from the state legislature in order to pass, which the suit alleges it didn't get.
Instead of actually going and getting the 75% that was required to amend what the voters wanted, they just couched this 24% within a budget bill.
Hassan Zarour is an attorney who specializes in cannabis regulatory law. While not directly involved with the lawsuit, he says his clients have been watching its progress closely.
This originally passed as a medical movement here in the state of Michigan.
Right.
And what we're doing here is pricing people out.
Zarour says if the tax does go through, it could have major implications on more than just money.
Ultimately, what I view happening is less people being willing to shop at these retailers and not an actual increase in the tax revenue that the state is intending on getting through this.
Exactly.
Lawmakers say the revenue expected from the new tax is $420 million. Zarour says that hike may...
$420 million? What a coincidence number. That's what you estimate to make, huh? They finessing, Jay. They estimate to make $420 million, huh? Finessers.
Some dispensaries to the brink, many who are already struggling with low retail prices and a crowded market.
Thousands of people are employed by this industry, and it's really short-sighted for the legislator or the entire government at this point to pass a budget that kind of just throws them under the bus.
Those behind the suit say they are asking for the tax to be struck down completely and are prepared to take their fight all the way to the Michigan Supreme Court. Elaine Rojas Castillo, CBS.
Yeah, I'll say it like this, man. A lot of people don't understand this concept, and maybe it's me. Maybe I'm not understanding this, but this is what I do understand about this situation. So what I do understand about this situation is that, so let me simplify it. Michigan, they already have marijuana, legal marijuana already legalized, right? For recreational use and also for medical use. Now, those who know, usually medical use, they don't have to pay a certain amount of tax. I don't think they pay the excise tax, which is like the extra tax they put on things for recreational reasons, just because, like the tax they put on gas, the tax they put on cigarettes, the tax they put on, I guess, marijuana. They don't have to pay that tax, right? Which isn't high anyway in Michigan. Michigan is only 6%, and I'm Googling it right here because I'm looking at the numbers. And it says a standard state tax 6%, 10% excise tax for recreational purchase. Of course, you don't have to pay for that for medical, because medical people need it, of course, right? So what they're basically saying is, say for instance you're a recreational user, you have to pay 16% tax, which isn't bad actually. That's actually really good. It's regular tax compared to the state of Illinois. Our tax is like 28%, right? And the reason I follow this so frequently is because we, how do you say, pride ourselves on taking the marijuana tax money that we get into the state. This year was the first time we've reached $2 billion in tax revenue for the state. But You tell me why we're still, for the state, in $2 billion debt when we got $2 billion of tax revenue from marijuana in the state of Illinois. Back to Michigan. Michigan now is at 16%, which is almost half of what we're paying in Illinois, right? But now they want to add a 25% tax on that, 24% tax on there as a wholesale tax, because they want to get up to $420 million so they could use it for roadways. That's a code word for I'm about to traffic the hell out of this money and somebody finna get a raise. God damn it. That's what that means. For real. Y'all think I'm lying? That's exactly what that means, bro. I'm not lying about it. Facts. That's exactly what that means. Look. But you got to think about it. Now you got to pay 10, 16, 24. 30. You got to pay 40% tax. So if you buying some weed, right, and it's like $100, you got to pay $140 for it just because $40 is tax of it. That's crazy. So what they think they're going to do with this concept is that, we're going to up the tax, so then we're going to start getting the same amount of numbers of buyers. So then now we got enough money to pay for these roads. We need $420 million. But do you know the funny part about this is even when they get the $420 million, which is funny because they're going to get it eventually, right? Because the state of Illinois got $2 billion in 1 year. That's Illinois, right? We got a bigger population. That being said, they're hiring up tax damn near, let's say, 15% more than Illinois, 20% more than Illinois. Okay, cool. But you got a lower population, and now people are just going to go back to the street. You see, when weed was legal the first time, I never understood why they made it legal. I guess for those people that didn't want to go find a weed man, and then you get it legally. So if you get caught with it, it's like not the biggest deal because you got it from a legal source, and that person was legally able to sell it to you, right? Makes sense. But now what you're doing is that you're pushing the sellers, and this is just street knowledge for people that don't understand. You're pushing the buyers back to the streets, to the weed mans that lost business due to the dispensaries being out, right? Because they all getting it the same way. Let's be honest. They got people that's distributing it in the streets, and it might be coming from the same people for real. You know what I'm saying? Because if the people that's selling it legally are the ones that's being taxed, the ones that they sell it to the people, they're probably the ones that's not being taxed. Man, it's a big laundering scheme. Y'all gotta understand this. This is just how it goes. Don't be confused, man. This is Michigan. That means Detroit, all this shit. Chicago, Illinois, bro. I'm telling you, it's all finesse. But you got to know that, right? That being said, so they got to pay so much money. And the reason why I hate this right now is because you are increasing the taxes on people so they can buy, assuming they're going to be the same amount of people buying it like it was prior. Now, only a fool, hold on, let me turn this down. Only a fool would assume that will continue because now they got to pay 25% more money than they did prior, which means I can only afford this amount of weed now. I can't afford this amount. So I'm going to, since I got to dial it down, I'm probably not going to buy it. It's like what they do with cigarettes. They just keep up increasing it because they assume that you're addicted to it. And this is in the state of Illinois, of course. They assume you're addicted to it, so they keep increasing the taxes on it, knowing that you're addicted to it. But weed is different. Weed, you're not addicted to it. It's not a physical addiction. It's like I don't need it like a cigarette. It's more like a want. And you can stop it. You can cold turkey weed, but you can't cold turkey cigarettes. You know, you have withdrawal for real. Like real withdrawal. And the thing is, people are knowledgeable. We're not in the best economy right now to be raising taxes on stuff at 25% rate. They was only paying 16. You just raised it up a 24% on top of the 16. Come on, man. Y'all got to think. And like he said, it's like a Trojan horse. It basically hid to get close to you. Like it got the bill to get close like a budget, and then they attacked you at the sides. That's exactly what state of Illinois did. Literally, it's the same game plan. It's the same play. And this is what I tell people about the politicians. They be slick with shit. They wait until the bill gets to the desk. Everybody reading through it. They edit it real quick before they send it through and put another bill in there. Some shit that wasn't in there initially. So everybody's like, yeah, let's get it. Right? So everybody's in there like, okay, let's get this shit. Whole time they got closer to it and they added some shit that wasn't originally in there to be clever. And then it passed through. Right? And a lot of people get affected. And you got to understand too. For those that don't understand, this whole concept is there's people that had to apply for weed licenses, grow the weed. They're getting, because they got to pass that down to consumer. You think businesses want to take that tax? That's a 24% tax, bro. That's a quarter percent. That's a quarter per dollar that you make. You got to pay 25% more tax, 24% more tax. Do you think the consumer is going to eat that up? I mean, the seller of the weed is going to eat that up? No. They're going to push that to the consumer, and they have to because it's a tax. But this is a tax they also pay, right? So then they have to be like, damn, now we're getting less revenue because you just increased our tax at 24% on top of the 16, bro. Now it's 40% tax. Now we're getting less money. We got to fire people and lay them off because we're not getting as much customers coming in. The customers is the revenue. You're taxed us more, which means you're taking more. We get less of the pot. You get them? Are y'all following me? I hope y'all following me this because it makes sense. Y'all just got to understand the game. And this is for any business. The more money they have to pay out, the less money they want to pay to employees. The less more people are going to shop there. You know what I'm saying? It all goes down when one thing goes up. When taxes go up, people get, let's say, laid off, because that's what it is. Now, when I compare this to state of Illinois, because this is all interesting. I think I wrote an essay on this when I was in college, but it was about the legalization of marijuana and how it was illegal in the first place, because I was always interested in like the history. Now, let me read this out to you so you guys can see it. This is state of Illinois. State of Illinois, they did it way differently. They kind of put it in an aspect where there's multi-taxes on certain things. So like Prister's very clever. That boy is slick. He is slick. And can I be honest with you guys? I want y'all to understand how this works, right? Because everybody thinks everybody's innocent. Not only did Prister use a black woman to get in office as his lieutenant governor, he actually used marijuana as a talking point to get elected, which is great. I'm gonna be honest, it was a great talking point, and it really got him in the dough because everybody voted for him for that reason. Because at the time before Prister got in office, weed was just decriminalized up to like, I think like an eighth, and everybody knows decriminalized doesn't mean legalized. Prister came and legalized it, but wait, before he legalized it, what did he do? He threw hella tax on that bitch, multi-layered tax system. Can I read this off? And this is for the state of Illinois, by the way. I'm going to get it back to Michigan in a minute. I just want to kind of correlate why this is important to the other state, because it's kind of running the same game plan. Before he made marijuana recreational, he put a tax on there. Retail tax based on product, THC content. So based on the THC content, levels is based on the percentage of tax. Does that make sense for y'all? So the lower the percentage of THC within the marijuana itself, the lower the taxes is, right? So 10% on products with THC level of 35% or more. So that's like, I guess, cookies and shit like that, I'm guessing, or vapes. I don't know how much THC is in there, but I'm assuming it's a lot. 25% tax on THC levels under 35. So you got 10% on products above 35 or less. So you got 10% or less. 25%, 15% more if it's above 35%. It could be it could be weed that's under 35 and weed that's above. It's being taxed differently. That's how slick he got it, right? It's, you know what I'm saying? 20% on cannabis infused products such as edibles and stuff like that. I don't even know what that even means. Okay, so 20% tax on, bro, they finessed it, right? But so be it. They still made billions of dollars, but that's because people don't understand. It's all embedded in the price. So when you see the price, like, all right, will I pay this money for this price? That's it. In a discussion. You're not really thinking about the taxes because the tax is embedded into the price itself. That being said, the state of Illinois made $2 billion last year off of this. And then I think we've been legal for about 4 or 5 years for real. Something like that. But either way, it's been very profitable for the city. No, but where's the money going for the state of Illinois? For those people that don't know, where is this money going? Because they did not tell us where this money's going. And that's just regular tax. You got to do state tax, local tax, right? Now I go back to Michigan. Is this Michigan? Yeah, Michigan. And this is starting January 1st. So I guess it is in order. They did make the rule. It is effective. It will be effective January 1st, 2026. So that's why they're fighting against it, because it's going to kind of upcrease the, people are still going to buy it. If they're addicted, they still going to buy it, right? But you got to put an aspect. It's going to bite the distributors in the ass. Why is it biting the distributors in the ass, man? Because the distributors don't want to constantly be affording this. Like, that means less people coming in. Like I said, you got to cut jobs because you're making less revenue because the tax has increased, right? You got a 16% plus a 24%. You got a 40% tax now. Illinois is only going to charge max 30%. They're paying 40%, and that's on certain products. They're not even doing stipulations like that in Michigan. So that means everybody's paying the same price, regardless of if it's potent or not. So you might as well get the potent shit due to the fact that the taxes are, regardless, across the board, same shit. I say this to say, these niggas finessing. Yes, they're finessing. And they do this because they know people want it, right? These are people that just want to enjoy themselves doing whatever is legal. So if it's legal, bro, let it be. Because what you're doing is you're overcharging the public. The public suffers. You know what I'm saying? Let them relax and calm down, whatever they need to do. I'm be honest. If it was me and I was a smoker and they said 40% from a 16%, I'm done. Simple as that. Simple as that. They more than doubled it, bro. They more than doubled the tax and threw it on there. Damn near. I'm good. That's what I would say. I'm like 40%. It's not that good, bro. That's what I would do, right? That's me though. Now that being said, I just want people to know that where's this money going? They said to the roads. At least Michigan said they're going to go to the roads in the state of Illinois. We don't know where that money is. Yet we're still in the budget. You know what I'm saying? Deficit. We're still in the budget deficit, but we've made $2 billion off of just taxes alone, which means they're getting way more money from not the taxes. Probably 4 times the amount. So that's your news there. Michigan state tax on marijuana. Y'all got to fight this if y'all want something different, man. I don't know. It's interesting, but it's just a finesse when it comes to the state of Michigan. They're always trying to penalize people. They go for your addictions. I bet they won't tax coffee. I bet they won't tax sugar. You get what I'm saying? They won't tax salt because then everybody has to suffer. They're going to suffer the people that are addicted to stuff like cigarettes, gas, like need-to-be's, like cigarettes, gas, liquor. They're going to tax all that. Why don't tax other stuff? Because they know that that's going to go bad in the eyes of everybody. If you tax stuff that are commonly used like coffee bean, you got an extra coffee bean tax. Shit like that. So I want y'all to think about that. Tell me what you think about that in the comment section. It's your boy Angelo Savage. Make sure you like the video for YouTube algorithm. Don't forget to subscribe because it's your boy Savage. Let's go, gang.